good morning, and good morning to you from all around the world. I am so happy to be here, and I know that you are happy to be here also. My name is Kunle Ologe, marriage counselor and founder of the Marriage Seal Academy, and you are welcome to Friday Live. You see, every Friday we come here at the Marriage Seal Academy and we teach you an aspect of marriage. And this will help your marriage in no small measure. That's what we do every Friday. So if this is the first time that you are joining us here, please just say hello to us and say it's the first time, and we will greet you, every one of you. Congratulations to you for joining us today. Remember what we do and how we do it for every one of you that is here. Please ensure you invite a minimum of 10 people to this particular class today, so that those people will also know what you know. Because I have always mentioned it and I've always maintained that if the marriages around you are bad, your marriage is at risk. And it is at risk because those marriages can influence your own good marriage or your own marriage that you are trying to build, and eventually that marriage will come down into crumbles. So welcome again. Today we are talking about the dangers of assumption. The dangers of assumption. And in the next 1 hour, between 11 and 12, we will be delivering this to you, and you will go back with the knowledge that you need to implement. So let's go there, everybody. And I hope you've invited the people you want to invite. Remember, you invite your family, your friends, your colleagues, your church members, everybody. Bring them here so that everybody can learn what you are learning. The dangers of assumption. Do you know that assumptions are one of the greatest killers of marriage? A lot of marriages that have gotten to the stage of divorce got there because one spouse or both spouses assumed. And since the assumptions were not debunked, those assumptions were seen as truth. Those truths are the things that those spouses now used and eventually got to the stage of divorce. So assumptions are very dangerous. Unspoken thoughts, unchecked conclusions, invisible expectations, this all slowly eats into trust, intimacy, and peace in your marriage. While assumption may seem small or harmless, the consequences are grave. They are great and they are grave. Assumptions, like I said, can destroy your marriage, pull your marriage down, turn your marriage into something that you won't even recognize again. That same marriage that you were so excited about, right? On your wedding day, you danced, you wore those lovely suits and dresses. You said to each other, I love you till death do us part. For 5 years along, you now begin to have big cracks in your marriage, and some are as a result of assumptions. So, what are assumptions in marriage? Let's clarify. What are assumptions in marriage? Because when you know a problem, they say it is half solved. So let's start by saying what the problem is and what causes it. Then we know that it's half solved. At least we have addressed the issue to a large extent. Assumptions are beliefs or judgments we form without verifying them. A simple definition of assumption: beliefs and judgments that we form without verifying them. And you know, this kind of forming happens because of past experiences, because of insecurities, because of unmet expectations. These are the things that fuel assumptions. For instance, you've had an experience, and I see this every day, you know, every time I counsel couples, I see these past experiences rearing up their ugly head. Every time I'm in a counseling session, or almost every time I'm in a counseling session, I hear one spouse blaming the other spouse for something that is not yet verified, but the spouse is so sure. And in some of those cases, by the time we have the conversations, you find out that they were unfounded. But they were just based on past experiences. Let me give you an example. So say a woman was beaten by her boyfriend. Then this woman now gets married to somebody else. And the somebody else, there's a quarrel. And then the somebody else, maybe voices are raised. And all of a sudden, the woman begins to cower, as in hold her hand up to protect herself from that person. And then this husband is wondering, why are you raising your hand to protect yourself? What's the problem? As in, the husband is shocked. You know what has happened? The wife has assumed that this man is going to hit her like the other man hit her. And so she's already behaving in that way. In fact, in some cases that I have had, the man didn't hit the woman, but the woman assumed that he hit her. As I'm telling you, real life cases. That's how bad trauma can affect you. The woman insisted that the man hit her, and the man said, but I never touched you. I didn't even come close to you. And you know what? When I allowed them to go through the memory of that day, we all realized, and I say all three of us, the husband, the same wife, and myself, we all realized that the man never hit her. But so much assumption in her head that hitting will happen that the woman actually believed that the man hit her. That's how bad assumption can be. These are real stories. Look, I'm telling you live stories. I counsel couples every single day from 1 p.m. to 5 p.m. That's every single work day. And so when I'm telling you some of these stories, these are stories that I've actually heard firsthand from the couples. So assumption is beliefs or judgments that are formed without verifying them, stemming from things like past experiences, insecurities, and unmet expectations. So rather than asking or seeking clarification, one spouse just draws a conclusion. You just see something that looks like something you've seen before, you draw a conclusion without trying to verify. So what are the roots of assumption? What are the roots of assumption? You know, when you see a tree, if you go to the roots, you will understand how the tree became that tree. There are some trees, when you see the roots, you say, no wonder this root is, yes, it can't carry this, a tree that is bigger than this. But there are some that when you see the root, you say, yes. Now, like the baobab trees, you see the roots, you say, yeah, this tree is from a very strong source. So let's look for the roots of assumption. Number one, assumptions grow when communication is weak. Assumptions grow when communication is weak. Communication is one of the three major issues in marriage. In fact, it's the most prominent of the three major issues in marriage. Those three major issues in marriage are communication, finance, and sex. Those are the three major issues in marriage. An assumption can come when communication is ineffective. Every marriage must have very effective communication where one spouse can pass information to the other spouse and that spouse will understand, and vice versa. But when this is weak, ineffective, not implemented the way it should, you will find out that assumptions will eventually creep in. So, assumptions grow where communication is weak. Communication in every marriage is supposed to be very effective. If your communication is good in a marriage, you will find out that it will be easier to talk about everything else, because talking about things is by communication, right? So if the communication is good, then you can talk about things easily. But when the communication is weak, assumptions begin to come in, because you can't have those conversations you are supposed to have, and it's only left with assumption. Number two, second root of assumption: when couples stop asking questions. Yes. So couples are supposed to ask questions, right? And when they stop asking each other questions, assumption comes in. It's just like you saying, you dry some grains outside, and there are chickens in that compound, right? And you don't put a barricade around those grains. You can be very sure that the chicken will eat the grains. They will come in there and eat the grains. They must. It's not something you pray against. It's something that will happen. Grain, and then you start see chicken. The chicken must go to eat the grain. It must go pecking at those grains. Same thing with assumption. If you don't ask questions, assumptions will replace those questions. There must be answers to things that are happening. So you must learn to ask questions. When you see something, you hear something, ask the questions. Because if you don't ask, then assumptions will come in and will destroy your marriage. What is another root of assumption? When couples stop checking in. They stop checking. Now, when couples stop checking in emotionally, assumptions will come in. For instance, your husband has not come to you in a while to ask you how you are feeling. You're going to begin to assume that this your husband is no more interested in you. Your wife has not called you for a long time at work to say, how's work today? My own work is good. How's your own work today? You're going to start assuming that she has an office boyfriend, or what do they call it? Office husband. So when couples stop checking in emotionally, you find out that assumptions walk into the place. So couples must actually check in emotionally. Number 4, when couples stop expressing their needs clearly. Look, when you need something, even if you feel it's a want, please express it clearly to your spouse. And when we talk about need or want, it's not limited to things that you can, tangible things. It can be things like quality time, words of affirmation. If you have those needs and your spouse is not meeting the needs, please tell your spouse. It could be sex in marriage. There are people who get into marriage, they get sex starved, and they are not telling their spouses. So their spouses don't even know. Not one, I've had several cases where the man will tell you that he's performing very well in the bedroom. And the woman will say, you are not performing, no, I'm just acting. So you stop expressing your needs, your spouse won't know. That woman that is saying, I'm just acting, you didn't say it since that this man is not satisfying you. And when there are now issues, that's when it's coming up that you're just acting. That's unfair. So, of course, the man assumed that all was well and that he was doing a great job. When couples stop expressing their needs clearly, assumptions step in. Number 5, when pride takes over. Pride can be a terrible thing in marriage, especially the pride that has grown to arrogance. So rather than admit uncertainty or vulnerability, you want to show that you are Superman. Nothing hurts you, nothing pains you. You can't be brought down by anything. So a spouse might act based on what they believe that the other person thinks or feels. Now, this kind of pride closes the door to learning, listening, and loving honestly. So pride. You close the door with your pride. Your pride comes in the way, and so assumptions happen. So you are so proud that you feel you know everything, and you are the one that is even now assuming in some cases. Can also be vice versa. So pride takes over and can actually root assumption. Let's look at the dangers of assumption. The dangers of assumption. So that you know how you need to caution yourself from assumption. Because assumption is dangerous. In marriage especially. Number one, when there's an assumption, there will be miscommunication and conflict. Miscommunication and conflict. This conflict issue, some of the conflicts you are facing, many of the conflicts you are facing may be as a result of assumption. One of you assumed one thing and you have escalated it so much, and it's not true. Sometimes it's true, but the escalation also has been too much. The escalation has been much more than your spouse even knows, because you didn't even tell your spouse in the first place. So when the one spouse assumes what the other meant or intended, you will see that will cause miscommunication. That means the information is not passed properly. And of course, when there is miscommunication, there will be conflict. Now, conflict, I've always maintained, is not always bad, though. It is how we manage conflicts that make it good or bad, which is why learning the skills on how you can resolve conflicts is very important in a marriage. Because the conflicts must come. No matter how small, conflicts must come. You are two different people living in the same house. You will have a difference in opinions now and then. So you must understand that you don't allow miscommunication in your marriage that will now lead to conflict, that will now linger, conflict that will now linger. I have a lot of marriages now that have conflicts that are lingering. The conflicts have been lingering for years. Some of them, by the time they come for counseling, I'm saying, why did you people allow it to linger for so long before you sought counseling? Some people will tell me, well, we didn't know that we have counselors in Nigeria. I'm like, okay, hello, I've been doing this for 14 years. You didn't look for. That's why you didn't know. You don't find what you don't look for. If you look for something, you will find it. If you had asked, look, my marriage is having issues. Please, can we get a counselor to wade in, a professional counselor? You would have found somebody. Maybe even me, years ago. I've had many situations where people come to me, and as I'm trying to help them resolve the issues they have in their marriage, they burst into tears. And when I ask them, why are you crying? They say, these things you are saying are true. I wish we knew it 5 years ago. That means we've wasted 5 years. There was one 51-year-old man that came once, him and his wife. When the man was crying, and I'm not used to men crying, so it was a physical session. When the man was crying, I gave him tissue, and I asked him, I said, why are you crying? He said that I've been married for 21 years. I've had this issue for 21 years. If only I met you 21 years ago, I wouldn't have had 21 years of hell. The man said, when I'm coming home, my heart is beating because I don't know what I'm coming to meet at home. So you can resolve conflicts if you get the right knowledge on resolving conflicts. And hey, you are right on the button, because this month, in fact, in just a few days, we are having the course Resolving Conflicts in Marriage. That's the title of the course, Resolving Conflicts in Marriage. That course is a 2-day course that will span from 29th all through to the 30th of this month of August. Yeah, so the flyer is up there. From the 29th to the 30th of this month, we will be helping you to identify what triggers conflicts in your marriage. We will help you to communicate calmly. We will help you to resolve arguments fast and rebuild connection. If you've not yet registered for this course, please look at the number that is on the flyer and the number that is scrolling on your screen. Reach out and ask them how to register. Oh, the details are there on the screen now, how you can register. So reach out and register. This is the last day. I'm told this is the last day for the early bird. So the early bird is 15,000 naira. After today, Friday, 12 a.m. By 12 a.m. today, which is beginning of tomorrow, Saturday, the price changes to 20,000 naira. So save your 5,000 naira. For those of you who have not registered, we have so many people waiting in the waiting group who have already registered since. Where were you? Why have you not registered? So if you've not yet registered to help yourself and help your marriage, please quickly register. In fact, as we're talking now, just send a chat to the number that is on your screen. Send the chat right now, immediately, right now, and just put, if you don't even know what to say, just put conflict, or you just put conflict course in that chat, and they will give you all the details how to register. And you can register by transfer, direct transfer. You can register by using our link. We have a link that you can register from any country you are in the world using any card that you have. Your international cards will work. So don't worry about how to register. We have all of that covered. Every method you want to register. Even if you want to transfer the registration in foreign currency, we have that available. So just reach out to the team with the number that is on your screen. Reach out on WhatsApp, please. Send a WhatsApp chat, because they handle too many people, so they can't take calls. Okay, so please just help my team out. Just reach out on WhatsApp and you can be sure they will attend to you. Don't worry, they will attend. I've given them the instruction to make sure they attend to everybody today so that they can catch up with the early bird. But I beg you, by tomorrow, if you pay the 15,000, they would ask you to balance the 5,000 naira to gain access to the course. So make sure you register with 15,000 naira right now and come. Don't register and then don't attend. No. Don't register. You finish registering, then you don't attend. The reason you are registering is so that you can attend, so that you will get the skills you need to resolve your conflict and then go back home to resolve the conflict. We do this course only once a year. So after we've done it now in this August till next year again, before we have the course again. So, try to key into it, sit down. Even if your spouse is not interested now, please register. And because you have access to the course for the next 1 year, the next 365 days, you have access to the course. So register and attend. When your husband or your wife is ready, let them also watch with you. So you already have the access. You just put it on for them to watch. Whatever be the case, make sure you don't miss this course. Nobody, no married person. Do you know that we even have people who are not yet married who have registered for the course? Yeah. Because they've seen that this is a core, they need this. So please make sure that you register for this course. It will really, really help your marriage. So the dangers of assumption, we've mentioned the first one is miscommunication and conflict. As we go on, and before we mention the other ones, maybe you should watch this short clip and it will really help you in what it is that we have spoken about conflict. See a true life, just take 1 minute to see a true life depiction of how conflicts start in marriage. Because some of the conflicts you are facing started very small, with very minute things, but grew up to be something very, very uncontrollable. Stay tuned as we play you this, and then we will continue immediately after.
Mr. Kolade, I have a very wonderful gist for you. I was on a short trip and I came back last week. And to my surprise, including the bills of the children, whatever they need at home, cooking and everything, my wife sorted everything out. I was so amazed. I don't know if we still have that kind of wife in this generation again.
Your own is good, though. Your own is good. Look at my wife now. She doesn't know anything at all.
Hey, wait.
I'm telling you.
Jesus.
You are lucky. You are a lucky man.
You can say that again. Amazing woman.
Honey. Honey,
Yes.
why do you always embarrass me when we're in public?
That was a joke now. Loosen up.
That's what you say whenever you hurt me. Oh.
See, here you go again, being too sensitive. You are too sensitive.
Yes,
You are too sensitive.
We have to talk about this today. We're talking about
please,
this
we cannot.
today.
I don't have time for this.
Oh, this man. Okay.
Are you still angry?
No, I'm just tired.
Are you sure? Because you haven't spoken to me since.
You're disturbing me, please.
When there are conflicts in your marriage, don't keep quiet about it. Allow the conversations to happen, because it is in the conversations that you are going to be able to resolve the conflicts. I invite you to the course, Resolving Conflicts in Marriage. That course is taking place at the end of August. You'll get all the details for that course after this video. My name is Kunle Ologe, marriage counselor, founder of the Marriage Seal Academy, and I will be facilitating that course. All right. So did you watch that short drama? I'm sure that you know that every year we have the drama night at the Marriage Seal Academy. Yes, every December we have a live stage presentation, a drama that is based on marriage that you will come and enjoy, you will laugh, you will have fun, and at the end of the day, you will learn something on marriage. Last year's one was so wonderful. In fact, the play we presented last year, A Lie That Kills Nine, that Saves Nine, was in this book of mine. So this is one of my new books that just launched this year, Marriage Stories. And in there you have 7 stories that will really excite you on marriage. In fact, one of the stories is my story, how I met my wife, how I proposed to my wife, and how our marriage was planned. We planned our marriage and eventually got wedded in the year 2009. So we're going to have another beautiful drama. And if you enjoyed this short clip, then this is just a tip of the iceberg. You're going to see very much more this December. You'll be getting all the details. Just stay tuned to this channel. So then, we were talking about the dangers of assumption. And I played that clip for you because of miscommunication and conflict. That's the first danger of assumption. The second danger of assumption is emotional disconnection. Emotional disconnection. So when there is so much assumption in your marriage, you will find out that you will begin to disconnect. You will begin to disconnect because assumptions will create those emotional gaps in your marriage. You're going to start feeling that your spouse doesn't care, your spouse doesn't want you, and all of that. And before you know what is that, you become distant from each other. The third danger of assumptions is unrealistic expectations. When you assume, you actually build up unrealistic expectations. And you know, the funny thing is that the person who you are expecting these things from does not even know. And you will assume that the person knows, but the person is not doing it. So unrealistic expectations is a danger of assumptions. There's a story of a man who got married to a lady. Now, before they got married, and well, this one, I think the man was the culprit anyway. Before they got married, this man was giving the lady everything. You know how it is, buying her things, sending her to Dubai. And this man was a civil servant. Of course, the woman assumed that her husband was a rich man. In fact, assumed that maybe he's a director, in the ministry or a permanent secretary because of the way he was spending money. But what was actually happening was that, you know how it is in the civil service. He was getting a lot of kickbacks. And so this is a true life story. So he was able to fund that lifestyle with money that was not real. And so that was one of the reasons the woman agreed to marry him. Not long after their wedding, he was moved from that juicy place. You know, you people say there are juicy places, right, in ministry. So he was moved from that juicy place and moved to a place that was not so juicy. So those monies were not coming again. And the woman assumed again that it means that he has started using his money for other women. Before you knew what was happening, that marriage crashed and they eventually got divorced. The danger of assumption. Number 4, the fourth danger of assumption is damaged trust. Damaged trust. When you assume, trust is damaged. Because you that is assuming, you are not trusting. You know, assumption is you creating a reality that is not verified. So you've already assumed and you've created that reality in your head and you are living that reality. Now that's a problem. So unrealistic expectations and damaged trust is another danger of assumption. The fifth danger of assumption is poor decision making. When you assume, you make poor decisions, and those poor decisions will affect you. They'll come back to bite you. You know, I said in a class once, I said you have power over your decisions, but you don't have power over the consequences of those decisions. So when you assume, you make a wrong decision, and that wrong decision may have a very bad repercussion. Assumption is a dangerous thing. The next one is, that's the last one. Yeah, that's the last one that I have for you today. I mean, I have more, but that's the last one I have for you today. Poor decision making. So without clarifying what has happened, you make a decision that might mess your entire marriage up. Now, what do you need to do to ensure that your marriage is protected from assumption? So how do you protect your marriage from assumption? How do you protect your marriage from assumption? Let's look at a few ways to protect our marriages from assumption. Please follow me very carefully. I hope you've been enjoying this. Oh, did you invite those 10 people? I know some of you just joined us now, and so maybe you didn't hear me when I said it. I had said at the beginning that please invite a minimum of 10 people. You can invite more. You can invite 20, you can invite 50, you can invite 100. But invite them to come and watch this with you. Because when the marriages around you are doing well, your own will do well. When the marriages around you are bad, your own is at risk. Because they can also influence you. So before bad marriages influence you, you influence those bad marriages. Did you get me? Before bad marriages influence you, you influence those bad marriages. So one way you can influence the bad marriages is to invite them here to come and watch and learn what it is you are also learning. If you've not done that yet, please send out those invitations to a minimum of 10 people and get all of them to actually join. Don't just send out the invitations. Ensure that they will actually join and they will help you to also manage your own marriage. So how do you protect your marriage from assumption? Number 1, replace assumption with communication. We are back to communication again. So instead of looking for how to assume, can you spend your energy looking for how to communicate? We have a course that we did earlier on this year, tagged Improving Communication in Marriage. Go and look for that course. You can reach out to the numbers that are on the screen, scrolling at the bottom of the screen. You will get that course, Improving Communication in Marriage. That course was a 2-module course that taught you everything you need to know about what to communicate, when to communicate, and how to communicate. You can also get my book, because when I launched the book Marriage Stories, I also launched it with the book What Your Spouse Is Not Telling You. This book, What Your Spouse Is Not Telling You, is the A to Z of communication in marriage. So also get this book. It will help you to learn how to communicate. The reason some people don't communicate in marriage is because they don't know how. It's not because they don't want to. They don't know how. You know how somebody, you are asking the person, you bought a new car. Why are you not driving it? He'll tell you all kinds of reasons. Oh, I've not gotten the papers yet. I'm trying to do a paint job on the car. The person doesn't know how to drive. Because he doesn't know how to drive, but he had the money to buy a car. So it's not a problem. And he doesn't want to say, I don't know how to drive. Please don't be that person. Replace assumption with communication. Communicate. Talk to your wife. Talk to your husband. Stop withdrawing communication. Speak out. Speak out. Number 2, ask questions. Ask questions. One of the things you need to do, which will kill assumption, is to ask questions. Look, if you feel that your spouse has done something wrong, or is doing something wrong, or will do something wrong, or there's anything negative you feel against your spouse, can you please just take a minute to ask him or her? It won't kill you, but it will save your marriage. If you ask more questions, you will have less assumptions. In fact, you can have no assumption with more questions. So learn to sit your spouse down and ask questions. But as you're asking these questions, please do it with all respect, with all calmness. A lot of times I hear couples saying they have conversation, but what they're just having is shouting. They're just shouting over each other's head. That's what is really happening. They're not really having conversations. So you need to understand that you need to actually ask questions. Ask questions. The next thing that you need to do that will help your marriage, protect it from assumption, is to speak openly. Speak openly. When you speak openly, you will find out, you see, all this speaking that you speak and you are not straight. You are speaking in theory and assumptions. You are speaking in parables. Okay? That doesn't help you. The assumption will come in. Speak openly and clearly. Let your spouse know what you are saying per time. Don't let your spouse start trying to imagine what you are trying to say. Let your speech be so clear that anybody that hears you, including your spouse, knows exactly what you are saying. So speak openly. Speak openly. Stop chopping your mouth, like they say. Speak openly. Let your spouse be able to hear and understand you. Don't speak in ways that you know that you will confuse your spouse. And some people do it intentionally so that at the end of the day, they will claim they said something instead of something else that they said. So, they just mumble everything. No, don't do that, please. Don't do that in marriage. Speak very clearly. Let your spouse hear you. Let your spouse understand you. Speak openly. Of course, speak openly also includes you not hiding things. If there's anything bothering you, speak up. It's your husband, it's your wife. Speak to the person openly. Instead of wondering and saying, if I say this thing now, how will this person feel? As long as you say it respectfully. The problem is how you say it, not what you say in this case. So if you say it respectfully, your husband or your wife will take it from you. The next one is that you need to listen deeply. That's number 4. Listen deeply. One of the skills you're going to be learning in that course, Resolving Conflicts in Marriage, is listening. Active listening. What we call active listening. Active listening is a skill that every married couple needs. And you will find that when you actually employ that skill, you will find that conflicts will be resolved easily. So instead of assuming, can you listen very well? Now, when I talk about listening in marriage, listening is listening to all the senses, listening to oral communication, written communication, emotions, touch. You need to listen to all to be able to get what your spouse is saying and what your spouse is not saying. Just like that, my book, what your spouse is not telling you. There are many things. In fact, in this book, I think I wrote about 30 things that your spouse is not telling you. Your spouse should be telling you this, but your spouse is not telling you those things. 30 things. You need to get this book. Please reach out again. Like I say, reach out to the numbers on your screen. And we have a catalog of books. There are 16 titles that you can get. So reach out. They'll give you all the titles so that you can actually access that. So this is another reason you should register for the course. You can see that active listening is also helping you to protect your marriage against divorce. So come and learn at the course. The next one, number 5, give your spouse the benefit of the doubt. Give your spouse the benefit of the doubt. You see how I'm hammering it? Don't always think the worst about your spouse. There are some people who always think the worst. And this thinking of the worst actually happens because of experience. So you experience something in your relationship, your former relationship, and then every time you think of your husband or your wife, you think of the worst. You think of her or think of him doing something that is so bad. Why? So you need to make sure you give your spouse the benefit of the doubt. If your spouse has said A, take it as A. Instead of trying to look around to see if that A is supposed to be C. I don't know if someone is following me. Are you following me? The next one is number 6. You need to be curious, not judgmental. You need to be curious, not judgmental. If something bothers you, please say so, but not with accusation. With openness. So instead of going back to your shell, or going back to your default mode, where you accuse just like that, please say what is wrong with you, what your spouse has done. Let him know, let her know. Just make sure you do it with good words and be open about it. Be curious, not judgmental. Curiosity will make you ask those questions you've not been asking. Be curious. Ask the questions. It will help your marriage. The next one, number 7, is that you need to build a culture of frequent check-ins in your marriage. Build a culture of frequent check-ins in your marriage. When we say frequent check-ins, what are we talking about? We're talking about you always looking out to see if your spouse is okay. That's a frequent check-in. Every time you do that and you check by phone call, by chat, by talking to the person physically, your spouse feels loved. Your spouse feels needed. Your spouse feels cared for. And so your spouse will also replicate what you are doing to him or her. So you must ensure that you build. It's a culture. A culture is a way of a people, right? Culture is a way of a people. So build that culture where you are frequently checking in. In the couples conclave, we have this kind of cultures because the couples conclave is a place, is a community that has a culture. So when you join that community, you begin to behave like the people in that community. Just think of it. If you are a Hausa man and you go into an Igbo community to live, it's just a matter of time. You begin to build that culture. If you're a Yoruba man, you go into a Hausa land, you begin to build the culture, you begin to speak the language. You're an Igbo person, you go into a Tiv land, you begin to speak that language and behave sometimes like them. Which is why the environment you are in is very important, because it can negatively influence you also. I've just spoken about the positive ones. There are also the negative ones. And so for marriage, you don't want to just be in a limbo. You want to also be in a community where you get positive knowledge on marriage. The couples conclave is such a community where you get positive knowledge on marriage, and your culture begins to change as you continue with us year after year. It's a lifelong program that will start from January and we end in December or November of every year. Take a break in December and start in January again. It's a place where, and I can see conclavites here. So hello, conclavites. The couples conclave is a place where we call ourselves conclavites, where people gather and learn about marriage. They build their marriage and sustain it in the couples conclave. Let's watch this clip for just 1 minute and see what this couples conclave is all about. Is that 11-month accountability and rejuvenation program of the Marriage Seal Academy. In this program, we bring couples together from all over the world to join hands, learn, and be taught on the things that you need to do to make sure your marriage is always on fire. It begins every year in January all through to November of the same year. We take a break in December and start again the next January. One of the things that you get to do in the couples conclave is that every single day there is a tip on marriage that is shared to all the couples. Every week we have a bonding activity that helps couples to come together and bond. Every month we give one master class on one particular aspect of marriage. And once every year we have a physical retreat where we take ourselves to a resort and have a nice time for a few days. We've had retreats in Abuja, in Lagos, and we're going to have the next one in Uyo. Over the past 4 years that we have had this couples conclave, we've had a lot of testimonials from couples who come in as maybe fighters in some cases, and then they eventually become lovers because they've come to learn what it is that they have not known on marriage. There's so much that you can learn in marriage, and the couples conclave creates that community where you can come and create that culture of the right marriage, the way God ordained it to be. My name is Kunle Ologe, marriage counselor, founder of the Marriage Seal Academy, and I am the chief host of the Couples Conclave. Join us for the 2026 Couples Conclave program. Registration details are immediately after this. Please enjoy. All right, so I hope we got the information. For those of you who are wondering that, oh, who are all these conclavites that are talking about couples conclave? Come and join us. It's a beautiful place to be, I can tell you, and the conclavites here will tell you. Every day we are enjoying each other and building ourselves little by little. So it holds you accountable so you don't fall back. Even if something would have made you fall back, you stand strong in the face of adversity because you are in a community that helps you. So ensure you build a culture of frequent check-ins in your marriage and then join a community to help you. Finally, don't wait for problems to arise. Ask your spouse from time to time how he or she is feeling. This is very important. Even if your spouse has not told you anything, just from time to time, ask your spouse if she is okay, if he is okay, if he needs any help, if your wife needs any help. Please ask your spouse how they are feeling, and then ask them how you are doing as a partner. Because after asking them how the person is feeling, ask them, appraise me. Do appraisal. You know, when I worked in the bank, one of those years when I just became a branch manager, after about a year of being a branch manager, I asked my staff to appraise me, and they were all afraid. They said, no, we can't appraise the person that will appraise us. So I said, okay, don't worry. You know what you guys will do? Type out the review, okay? Type it out. I gave them a font. I think I said Arial 12. So type it out, everybody, in Arial 12 and send it to my secretary's printer. So I don't even get to know who printed it. He just packs all of them from the printer and gives me. But you know what? It helped me a lot because I heard my staff genuinely talking about things that they would be afraid to talk about. So ensure that you are that kind of person who is accountable to your partner. Many conflicts could be avoided if the couple simply made fewer assumptions and had more conversations. So we want fewer assumptions, more conversations in marriage. At the end of the day, you will find out that the marriage will do better. Please remember, assumption is a killer of marriage. You want it as far away from you as possible. You want to make sure that your marriage stands strong without having those kind of things like assumption hitting on the legs that are supposed to be the pillar of the marriage. I'm so happy that all of you were able to make it here today. I'm so happy that all of you listened to me today. And I pray that you will all take what I have said and you will go and implement it in your own marriage so that it will work. These things are working in my own marriage. Everything I come to teach you here, I have practicalized them. I don't teach you theory, I teach you practical. So yes, it might have a theoretical component, but I teach you practical, and that's why you hear me always talking about my own story. So I want you to ensure you go back home today and decide, make a decision. It's a decision. Make a decision that from today, your marriage is not going to have assumptions again. And I join you in your faith to decide with you and agree with you that your marriage will not have that issue again. And here again, like we said, is the course Resolving Conflicts in Marriage. Please make sure that you register for the course. Send your questions and inquiries on the course to the numbers that are on your screen, and they will reach out to you. Remember, today is the last day of the early bird. After today, it moves from 15,000 naira to 20,000 naira, and there's no turning back. Okay? So immediately today ends, 12 a.m. today, it reverts to 20,000 naira. Please don't come back after that when you can do it now. So as we are talking now, just go on your app, do that transfer, make that registration, and ensure you are seated waiting for that particular day to come and be trained on conflict resolution in marriage. My name is Kunle Ologe, marriage counselor, founder of the Marriage Seal Academy. You have been listening to me talking about assumptions and how to ensure assumptions are killed in marriage before the assumption kills your marriage. See you again next week, Friday, and be here with a friend. Make sure you invite somebody as you are coming. God bless you all. Please enjoy.
A sacred bond filled with love, laughter, and purpose. But like every journey, it's not always smooth. Sometimes the road gets rocky, misunderstandings arise, communication breaks down. The spark begins to fade, but here's the truth. You don't have to face it alone. Just as you wouldn't drive through a storm without guidance, you shouldn't navigate the storms of marriage without the right direction. That's where marital counseling comes in. Not as a last resort, but as a lifeline. A safe space where hearts are had, perspectives are restored, and love is rekindled. Don't just hope your marriage gets better, work towards it with wisdom, clarity, and practical tools that create lasting change. With over a decade of proven experience, Kunle Ologe has guided countless couples back to connection and purpose through biblical principles, compassionate listening, and practical counsel that works. Whether you're newly married, feeling distant, or at the edge of giving up, there's hope and there's help. Book your virtual or on-site session today with Kunle Ologe and take the first step towards healing, growth, and a marriage that thrives. Because with the right knowledge applied at the right time, your love story can be rewritten.
Oh my God.
Welcome.
Yeah, please can you get the guest room ready? My cousin is coming over.
Guest room. Your cousin is coming over. How? We never had that conversation before.
I don't understand. Do I need to have a conversation with you?
That's my issue. You just make decisions and you don't tell me you're doing it again.
I don't like this. Anytime it's my family, you always act one way or the other.
My issue here is not about that. My issue is that I want partnership. I want to feel heard. I want to feel like I matter in this marriage. You don't just go about making decisions, no conversations, no considerations. How do you want me to just flow in?
You want partnership or you want to control me, this woman?
It's never about just wanting, but you would never understand.
Every time we don't have conversations about the issues that come up in our marriage, we end up turning those issues into things that are so much bigger than the way they started. In marriage, conversations are important. Every conflict ends with a conversation. However, knowing how that conversation should go will help you achieve a better conflict resolution than when you have no idea at all. Register for the course, Resolving Conflicts in Marriage, and come and learn the skills that you need to resolve every kind of conflict that may come up in your marriage. And not just resolving them, but resolving them conclusively in a way that they don't need to come up again and again. I will be facilitating that course. My name is Kunle Ologe, marriage counselor and founder of the Marriage Seal Academy.
Mr. Kolade, I have a very wonderful gist for you. You know, I was on a short trip and I came back last week. And to my surprise, including the bills of the children, whatever they need at home, cooking and everything, my wife sorted everything out. I was so amazed. I don't know if we still have that kind of wife this generation again.
Your own is good, though. Your own is good. Look at my wife now. She doesn't know anything at all.
Hey, wait.
I'm telling you.
Jesus.
You are lucky. You are a lucky man.
You can say that again. Amazing woman.
Honey. Honey,
Yes.
why do you always embarrass me when we're in public?
That was a joke now. Loosen up.
That's what you see whenever you hurt me. Oh.
See, here you go again, being too sensitive. You are too
Too
sensitive.
sensitive. Too
Yes,
sensitive.
you are too sensitive.
We have to talk about this today. We're
No,
talking about
please,
this
we cannot.
today.
I don't have time for this.
Oh, this man. Okay.
Are you still angry?
No, I'm just tired.
Are you sure? Because you haven't spoken to me since.
You're disturbing me, please.
When there are conflicts in your marriage, don't keep quiet about it. Allow the conversations to happen, because it is in the conversations that you are going to be able to resolve the conflicts. I invite you to the course, Resolving Conflicts in Marriage. That course is taking place at the end of August. You'll get all the details for that course after this video. My name is Kunle Ologe, marriage counselor, founder of the Marriage Seal Academy, and I will be facilitating that course.